My name is Kwabena Chenchen. Many thanks for joining us here on News Today. To our very first story, and voting is currently underway in 69 polling centers at the Ibaka North constituency in the Eastern region. Over 40,000 registered voters are taking part in the exercise triggered after the murder of the Member of Parliament for the area, Joseph Boachidankwedu. Eastern Regional Correspondent Edwin Kofi joins me on phone now with the very latest on the ground. So, Kofi, tell us much more about how the process has panned out so far. Earlier when we spoke to you, you told us about the low turnout. Is the situation the same?
It's the same. The situation here hasn't changed at all. The process has been very smooth. Everyone comes in and goes through the process and casts his or a vote. But they only have the challenge with the low turnout. People are not actually coming as expected. For instance, I went to the Abdenasi police station, and out of 376 persons who are supposed to cast their vote, 16 had come. I later went to the Midday care center where 931 people are supposed to cast their vote, but only 48 had come. Then several other places, the numbers are not encouraging according to the UC officials, and they are expressing worry about the situation. But they say that in by-elections, in situations like this, that is what usually happens. But in this election in the Ibaka North, the turnout is very low as compared to other by-elections held in some parts of the country.
So, aside this particular issue being raised by the Electoral Commission, how have the candidates, for instance, been reacting to the low turnout?
Well, the candidates are not worried at all. For instance, the NPP are very content with what is going on. They are moving around with vehicles, urging people to come out and vote. So I do not know. I just want to believe that those who are coming out to vote are, most of them are members of the NPP coming out to vote. Because if you go to most of the polling stations and you see the reactions of the voters, vis-a-vis their conversation with party officials and all that, you realize that these are more of NPP members coming out to vote. The other candidates, mostly the USP, for instance, and the GFP, for instance, when you go to some of the polling stations, they do not have even agents to observe what is going on in the polling station. So here in Ibaka North, voter turnout is very low, but the process is very smooth.
Right. Edwin Kofi, many thanks for that update. That was our Eastern Regional Correspondent Edwin Kofi, bringing us a lot more on that by-election currently ongoing in Ibaka North. Away from that now, and the 3 retired South African police officers who were arrested in the Central Region for allegedly engaging in activities with national security implications have been deported. They were put on board South African Airways flight number 210, which departed around 9:26 this morning to Johannesburg. Their entry visas have also been revoked by the Ghana Immigration Service. Officials from the Ghana Immigration Service and security details from the Bureau of National Investigations escorted the 3 to the aircraft, which was yet to be boarded by other passengers. Graphic Online witnessed the scene as the 3 were made to board the aircraft around 8:29 a.m. They were not handcuffed and had no security escort from Ghana. According to security sources, South African officials would meet the 3 on arrival. Still on the issue, and meanwhile, lawyers for the 3 South African ex-servicemen arrested by the BNI have described the latest development about their deportation as an insult to the country's security system. Lawyer Samuel Atani says if the security agencies suspect the 3 retired servicemen of serious crimes, then letting them off the hook in the manner they just did is a big disgrace. His reaction comes after the 3 were deported via a South African airline early this morning at the Kotoka International Airport.
Look at what has happened. Today we have it that the 3 South Africans have been deported.
You are their lawyer. How did you get to know of this information?
Well, one guy in the BNI who is in charge of operations is called Akron, informed us that indeed and in fact the 3 South Africans have been deported.
How does that fit in all of this? You were supposed to, there's a commencement of a process, a legal process against them, and they were supposed to be on bail. So how does the deportation fit into the case as we speak?
It insults our security system, because if indeed and in fact you've arrested criminals and you believe that they were criminals, I'm afraid you do not let criminals off the hook. There's nowhere in the world that when you have criminals in your grip, you let them go. It's indicative of the fact that the whole exercise and the noise and the melodrama about the arrest of these 3 South Africans who were doing something unusual in association with MPP is a farce and a hoax, and it's a disgrace to the setup that we shouldn't feed the NDC propaganda with information that we are trying to do something untoward.
Lawyer Atani maintains the whole saga about the arrest, detention and deportation was an NDC propaganda gimmick to make a face about nothing. Now calls for a total condemnation of the entire scenario.
Were you aware of any official indication of the dropping of these charges?
We don't have a nolle prosequi from the Attorney General that they want to discontinue the action. But by releasing the accused persons to go to their home country, there's a clearest indication that you did not have faith and confidence in what you were doing. You were doing propaganda to make NDC happy.
No, but these are state agencies, these are prosecutors, these are BNI officials. They indicated clearly that these people were actually involved in something that was of higher security implication. But they have also said that the immigration service were investigating the gentlemen involved because they said they were here to conduct business, but apparently are doing something different from conducting mere business as business partners. Do you think is the reason why they have been deported for wrongfully or for of course, I mean for telling the immigration officials the wrong identities and giving them the indication that they are here to do something different?
Well, if you prefer charges against individuals and you send them to court, then you are talking about a serious matter. But if you do an about 10 in such a shameful way and say that I'm deporting the so-called accused persons, they didn't have confidence in what we were doing in the first place.
So you were told the indication from the Interior Minister is that they sent them to the Ghana Immigration Service because of some investigations. That's why you could not have, them being left at the registry for it to conclude the process last Thursday.
Well, the Interior Minister is joining the chorus of men who disregard the law and treat the law with impunity. I was expecting the Interior Minister to condemn the act of the BNI operatives defying the express orders of a court of competent jurisdiction that the individuals should be admitted to bail. It is very important. And you should bear in mind that when people are on bail, they can be invited to come to the police station, immigration service, or anywhere. They are limited freedom they can use to attend to the businesses of the state. If the business of the state is that go and see immigration officials, a man needn't be behind bars to cooperate with state institutions. That's sufficiently logical for everybody to understand.
But was that point made clear to you on Thursday that we are taking them to the immigration
Never.
service?
They never said that. They didn't even give us a courtesy of explaining why they did what they did. And in the first place, even if immigration service has some outstanding business with them, the bail process should have been concluded.
Okay.
They should have respected the court. The people should enjoy their freedom. And subsequently, if you think you should arrest them for some other offenses, there's no bar from arresting them.
So that was Samuel Atani. He represents some of those 3 persons, those 3 ex-servicemen who have now, we are told, been deported to their home country. So earlier we did know that those 3 were supposed to be in court sometime this morning. My colleague Monakwa tells us, well, that didn't happen. He's joined me now in studio to tell us much more about what really transpired in court today. Raymond, thanks for joining us. So these 3 men were supposed to appear in court today.
Yeah, actually, they were supposed to be brought to the registry as a court ordered.
Okay.
The prosecution was there at the registry. The lawyers for the, what they call it, gentlemen were also there at the registry. So it was after some time that the lawyers got wind of the information that, well, they are no longer even coming here again. The prosecutor who led the case in court last Thursday did not know that they had been deported. So it was also news to him. He had to go try confirm it from his superiors before coming to say that, well, he's been told that he'll be briefed accordingly later on. But that's what happened in court. It was a standstill. Nothing happened just at the registry where they're supposed to officially be now granted bail because they'd met their bail terms and just needed to go through the motions.
This obviously is something that clearly the lawyers for these three ex-servicemen are not going to be happy about. Do they plan on seeking any action?
They made it clear to me that they would actually still go back to the court, cite the BNI and the prosecution for contempt. They said there's been far too many cases where the state have violated the rights of people and also court orders. In this particular case, they say they will not leave them off the hook because really, if they let it go, it may happen again. So Atachi was very clear in his mind that they are preparing their case and will have to cite them for contempt. I was asking about whether the case will not be dead by now because the people are out of the country. I said, no. The contempt is a different case altogether. If you violate the court's rules and directions, it's different from whether you've deported the people or not.
Okay. Finally, I just want to find out one thing. Has there been any word from BNI or Ghana Immigration Service as to reasons for this deportation without recourse to the due process, obviously?
The only indication we got from the prosecutor who was on the grounds was that they have the right as the Immigration Service to revoke your visa and actually admit or actually reject anybody who wants to come into the country. Sure. So they took that decision and he doesn't know why they did so. But the Immigration Service can at any point in time revoke any foreigners. But
they did that regardless of the current process, legal process that's ongoing.
So that was the question we asked him. You were coming to court to continue with the process, and that process has been truncated. He says he is only giving directives to come and prosecute for and on behalf of the state. If the state is no longer interested, if the state proceeds to actually take the people out, he cannot proceed with the case. Then the question will come in. You file a nolli prosequi when you are no longer interested in the case. Has it been filed? He said, not yet, but if the people are no longer in the country and there's no evidence to incriminate any other person, then he would have to do so.
Right. Raymond, many thanks for that update. And that was my colleague Raymond Akwa, who just returned from court this morning, where those three ex-servicemen from South Africa were expected to appear in court. But, well, we are told that they've actually been deported. Now to some more stories, and still related anyway. And the opposition New Patriotic Party has charged the Electoral Commission to come clear on the role tech firm Superlog Technology is playing in the country's election process. The Electoral Commission has insisted since 2012 that the role of STL has only been to provide biometric machines for verification purposes, but a statement from the Interior Ministry released yesterday seems to contradict that claim, suggesting the company is into the transmission of tallied election results. The NPP is accusing the ruling NDC of manipulating the Electoral Commission ahead of the November polls. Campaign chairman of the party, Peter McMenu, has been telling me more on News Desk.
On Ghanaians' confidence in the Electoral Commission has sunk to as low as 44%, whereas in Nigeria, their confidence in their Electoral Commission had up to 85%. So they need to exhibit values that Ghanaians would have confidence in. Value of accountability, value of confidence in the electoral system, value of professionalism, value of inclusiveness, value of openness and transparency. These are key things that any effective electoral management body like our own EC must exhibit.
Does the NPP have reason to believe that the Electoral Commission may be involved in a ploy to ensure that the party, that's your party, the NPP, does not win power this year?
Well, for me, whether the Electoral Commission has conceived anything or not, the power to form a government or to give power to a political party rests with the good people of Ghana, the discerning voters. Our duty is to ensure that what the voters give or put in the ballot box is counted and declared accordingly, and we are going to ensure that. Our duty is to ensure that votes counted and declared are what is shown at all levels of the process, from polling station to collation center to the national center. Our duty is to ensure that our voters turn out in abundance and vote for us and are counted and declared accordingly. For that, no electoral commission can prevent that.
And clearly, you are a lot more particular about those protecting those votes, and so one would suggest that you saw it necessary to bring in these three persons to come train.
Canvass for votes and ensure that those votes are counted and tallied accordingly. That's our duty.
We're taking a break here on News Today. Return shortly with a lot more stories. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us here on News Today. And let's head now to the Ashanti region, where we are told that a middle-aged woman has been arrested with 499 wraps of substances believed to be cocaine in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi. My colleague Erastus Aridonko joins me on phone now with details of the story. So Erastus, tell us much more about this lady who has been arrested and really how we got to find out that she had these parcels of cocaine with her.
Well, the Drug Law Enforcement Unit of the Regional Police Command, they say they've been trailing this woman for some time now, and they think that she was transporting the substances to Manso Fuase somewhere, precisely to the mining area. Now, they had hints on Sunday that he was traveling on a Benz bus. So they intercepted the bus around the Kwai roundabout, close to Bantama, and they arrested her. And a search conducted on her revealed the 499 wrappers of powdery substances believed to be cocaine. So she has been arrested. Her name is Martha Osei. She's middle-aged. The police say she has been doing the job for some time, and they've been trailing her to really arrest her on Sunday.
When she was arrested, was she in the company of any other persons, or she was just the only one arrested? There have been no accomplices to this crime whatsoever?
Well, I'm being told by ASP Alale, who is in charge of the Drug Law Enforcement Unit, that she was alone on a bus. Their intelligence indicated that she was transporting the substances alone, precisely to the mining areas around the Manso or Kwasi area. And so they intercepted the bus and arrested her and took her to custody. Currently, she's on a provisional charge of possessing narcotic substances. And after the forensic investigation and the substances confirmed, then she will be properly charged before court.
Erastus, many thanks for that update. We'll be coming back to you a bit later on for a lot more. That's Ashanti Regional Correspondent Erastus Aridonko bringing us details there from the regional capital, Kumasi, where quite a number of parcels of substances suspected to be cocaine have been seen on a middle-aged woman there. To some politics now, and the flag bearer for the Convention People's Party, Ivor Kobna Green Street, has described as unfortunate comments made by former CPP chair Samia Yaba Nkrumah on Mr. Greenstreet's source of funding in the party's Congress. The former chair alleged Ivor Greenstreet's campaign for the flag bearership slot of the Nkrumah's party was sponsored by the ruling NDC, adding that the newly elected CPP flag bearer was only going to do the bidding of the NDC. But Ivor Greenstreet has dismissed the comments, saying they are aimed at distracting him from carrying out the party's main objective.
You know, they are most unfortunate, very, totally inaccurate. I think we have made it clear that we have problems with the record of the NDC as a government in office, and we have problems with the record of the MPP when they were in office. And I think that we have been making that very clear in all the statements that we have made. I think some time ago I was even under attack by the very NDC for some comments that I made, in Kumasi, where I descended upon them heavily on issues of corruption and Dumso at that time, and so many other issues. So I find it difficult to understand why there's this perception there, which has been fueled by the comments of others. But what I will be judged upon is on how we conduct our campaign, the kind of statements that we make, the kind of policies that we put forward, and the way we, effect our campaign on the ground, which is about organization. I think in the past we have had some poor results based on, making a lot of noise but not having proper organization on the ground. So we are working hard over this quarter, that is March, April, May, and now I think likely to extend to June, on our party's grassroots organization, our structures, our message on the ground. And the bottom line is that Ghanaians are not happy with their current situation. And
so specifically, what is the CPP going to do to position itself as a more credible party to be voted for come November polls?
Well, logically, we would be telling Ghanaians that clearly NDC have failed, but there's no seeming reason why you would even think of dreaming to therefore replace them with the MPP, who were also failures. That is why they were booted out of office. And the fact of the matter is NDC and MPP also pursue similar policies. That is why they continue to fail, and that is why the ordinary Ghanaian continues not to feel the benefit of government policies as far as the ordinary citizen is concerned. So we are going to be making our policies very clear, which are going to be people-centered policies that are going to be dealing with issues of corruption. They're going to be dealing, as you have seen today, on issues of agricultural productivity, issues of education, issues of health, but most important, issues of youth employment creation. And we're going to have a continuous situation from both MPP and NDC on inability to create employment because of the policies they pursue.
Mr. Greenstreet adds that the Convention People's Party is ready and willing to do all it takes to ensure victory in this year's general elections.
NDC are in the race to win first round. I think the MPP are in the race to win first round. And I think the CPP are also in the race to win first round. Our agenda is not to sit down and think that, okay, we will push it to a second round. I don't think that would be a sensible political strategy to have. Well, so, to make ourselves attractive to all Ghanaians, we would tell them first that they should recognize that both the alternatives, the NDC and the MPP, are totally unattractive. So the first logic is that they should be looking in a different direction. And in looking in that different direction, we believe we'll make ourselves the most attractive in terms of our policies, what we have achieved in the past, and the direction of our policies in terms of the people of this country. And I think they will realize that certainly over a period of time, despite whatever perceptions people try to create, that we have an independent perspective and an independent way forward, which is not tied to the coattails of any political party. And that
have you considered choosing your running mate already? What are the things you're looking out for?
There are a number, who are interested, and this is something that the candidate discusses in conjunction with the party, and that discussion is underway, and no doubt you'll hear something very soon.
And I was flag bearer of the Convention People's Party, Ivor Kobna Greenstreet, in an interview there with my colleague Matilda Fomega. You're still watching News Today here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. We're taking a break. When we come back, bring you some updates in the world of business and sports. Stay with us.
And now time to do some business. And the Ghanaian economy is still exposed to serious shocks because of rising external deficit and fears of spending outside approved budget this year. That is the warning coming from ratings agency Fitch. The agency said this after it maintained the country's credit rating at B, but with a negative outlook. Following Business Desk report has more.
Noted that Ghana's economy is exposed to these shocks because it is still importing far more than exporting. This should mean that the country will always have to look for more dollars to finance its imports, a situation that could put a lot of pressure on the country. Fitch in the report was however optimistic that the Ghana cedi will experience some greater stability this year, putting the average exchange rate at 4 Ghana cedis 1 peso. Fitch is also worried that there is the tendency that government might end this year spending more than what it has collected in taxes, a development that could plunge the economy into another round of crisis, adding it is not convinced by measures taken by government to keep spending within the approved budgets. It noted that the current challenges with commodity prices could send the Ghanaian economy crashing if things do not improve soon. Fitch also added growth this year would largely depend on a pickup in oil production and commodity prices. On monetary issues, Fitch is projecting further hikes in the policy rates, which currently stands at 26%.
Moving on, government is expecting over 10,000 jobs to be created by September this year. This is from the Business Process Outsourcing Center at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle interchange here in Accra. Communications Minister Dr. Edward Omane Boama explains to Joy Business the BPO facility should be ready by next month to complement existing initiatives that are providing employment for many.
The one that is being constructed near the Kwame Nkrumah interchange is progressing very well, and it's estimated that by the end of March we would have completed it. We will complete the population of the center by September this year. There is also another building which has been completed at the Tema-Free Zones Enclave, that is at the ICT Park, and as of now we have e-services working together with Tigo and over 100 youth working there.
Also still on this particular story, government would also lease spaces at the Center for Software Development and IT Training, among other services. Dr. Maniboma says the legal processes are being finalized for interested companies.
All the tenancy agreements to be blessed by the wisdom of the Attorney General, and so the requests that we have received and the draft agreements have been sent to the Attorney General's department, and they are going through them. We expect that once that is completed, we will be able to provide the necessary green light to the companies that have expressed interest. At the appropriate time, their identities and everything will be known.
Dr. Edward Omane Boama, with that brings us to the end of business here. But then you can join us for more business stories on the marketplace between 1 and 1:30 for more. My name is John Kojo Amwago. Please stay.
And that will be how we wrap up this afternoon's edition of News Today here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. My name is Kwabena Chenche Heneboati. Remember to visit myjoyonline.com for a lot more news. John Amwako is standing by with the marketplace. Many thanks for your company.